Welcome to Urban Homestead Radio, preserving a homegrown way of life and inspiring others to bring the revolution home. Thanks to the support of our sponsor, Lehmans. For over 60 years, they have provided practical, non-electrical tools, appliances, and home goods. When technology fails, their products will certainly work. Check out their website at lehmans.com. That's Lehmans.com.
Let's go down to the Urban Homestead, Pasadena by the freeway, right down there on the Urban Homestead.
Hi homesteaders, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host Anais Dervaes from the Urban Homestead in Pasadena, California. I want to say happy summer everyone. Hope everyone is safe and well, especially during these challenging times. And I hope a lot of you folks are enjoying your summer bounty from your garden and are eating well for sure. So today I have the pleasure of interviewing one of our farming interns, Dan Whitmore. He's joining me today, and he's going to talk about how helping here at the homestead has to either change his life and how he's changed his perspective on maybe growing food. So hi Dan, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Yes, it's exciting times for sure to have all these amazing interns here helping us at the homestead. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you came maybe to hear about the homestead and how you came to help here at the homestead?
Sure, definitely. So my name is Dan Whitmore. I moved to LA about 3 years ago from the Midwest, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't have much of a background in gardening or farming, but I would say about a year and a half ago, I started thinking about getting into these types of activities. And I'm not sure what the catalyst was, what sparked that interest, but I remember getting on my computer and Googling farms around LA. And it must have been online that I found you guys. I don't think it was social media. I think it was probably just a Google search, looking for local farms around LA. You guys popped up. I checked out your website. I noticed that you guys hire volunteers. And so I reached out, and that led to the application process.
Cool. I met face to face. I like that face to face. I get the application. How it goes is you get the application, you're one of many names, and I read through, and then I do a face to face, and the face to face, we just end up talking, and it seemed like a really good fit, and then we started putting you in volunteering, and so you've tell me about like what your first maybe impressions were of the homestead, the tasks that you were involved in. Yeah, just tell, and then how long you've been volunteering. I don't know.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think it's been, I was thinking about that earlier. I think early 2019 is when I started, maybe January or February. But yeah, I'll never forget filling out that application online and then coming in for the face-to-face interview. It was a lot more, it was a lot more structured, and I don't want to use the word intense, but there was a rigorous hiring process. And I remember filling out the application online, and there were just so many questions, and some of them were kind of odd and unexpected, but interesting. Like, what kind of music or what kind of musicians do you listen to? And I'm like, my musical interests, are kind of all across the board.
Okay, I don't remember what is the right answer? Okay, I'll have to go back and look.
I was like, Tom Petty?
I think maybe it was your influences.
Maybe it was influences.
Yeah,
maybe that was what it was.
Who has influenced you?
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, some interesting,
there's no
fun
wrong
questions.
Answer, by the way, but
And then I came in, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. I haven't been to a lot of farms in my life, but when I think about the farms that I see on TV or in the movies, they're very large, there's lots of animals, and I wasn't really sure what to expect. Was there going to be any animals, chickens, horses? And I didn't realize that you guys are literally on 1/10 of an acre, so you cram a lot into this small space. But I remember sitting down in your front area and just surrounded by just lush green and fresh produce and herbs everywhere, and it was just a beautiful sight to see. But yeah, so that's kind of when it all started, and I think it has been about 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, and I like it. Like I said, there's the one thing where it's the the online, not knowing, and then meeting the people, and why I guess you would say the vigorous process or whatever. It's just, we want to make sure that you're serious about helping, because we have contact with other farms and things, and volunteers, they come and they go. Volunteers are hard to come by, good ones. There's been like mutterings of, oh man, if we could only have good volunteers. So with my idea, and I've also been working on it with the nonprofit side, is when we that's why I changed from volunteer to internship, because I feel like we're more training you guys to either run your own farms or can help out at other farms. So, and be able and capable too. So hence the questions and the face-to-face and the orientation. It's like, I feel, because some people come in, they don't even know, like when I say Justin goes and says, go weigh these beans or whatever, and they put the basket of beans on the scale, they don't realize they have to tare. So it's actually, for me, learning the orientation. I've been adding things like, hey, handling of tools, and some people come to us and they don't know this. So this has been a good opportunity to meet for me to develop the internship program and what involves in training people like yourself. Because us, it's like, oh, second nature, but for newbies, they might not know. And so it's been a good experience on both sides of the learning experiences.
Yeah, definitely. So. And I really didn't know much at all. So I've been really blessed and very thankful for you guys and your patience with me. Like when I first started, I was very much involved with farm box day, so picking things for the farm boxes. And I would write down a list, or Justin would provide a list of the things that I needed to go pick and then put into those farm boxes for the customers. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never even heard of this thing. What is this? They're like 6 kind of basil. What?
and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And then there's so much else as well, just like things I'd never heard of, and him having to show me where things were, required a lot of patience on his part. I didn't even know, like,
trowel,
you mean shovel?
Yeah. Or the hand
trellis.
Trowel is the
hand
trowel.
Exactly. So learning the lingo and the vocabulary.
Well, maybe that you can help me with the lingo now. I could have a little, like, Justin Lingo Dictionary to all the new interns. Like, okay, here's the lingo. Not only where the scissors and how to wash your hands and Maybe I'll have a little lingo. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, so. And sometimes it's a little embarrassing asking. Like he'll say, "Grab the trowel," and I'm like, "Let me grab these scissors." I don't know what he's talking about.
Trowel, yeah, a trowel is a hand trowel, and it's interesting.
It's important, But stuff I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
Yeah.
So talking about working with Justin, how has that been working alongside him? In the garden. I mean, what have you learned from him? Involuntarily, maybe, or voluntary. Learning things that maybe you didn't know, like you said.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I really like working with Justin. He's a great guy. And I would say for the first 6 months to a year, we talked mostly about just personal stuff, like getting to know each other. We don't have long conversations while I'm volunteering and picking and harvesting and things like that. But over the course of the first year, I'd say we got to know each other pretty well, and we kind of became comfortable with each other. And then I got to the point where I felt more comfortable, and I would come every week. Now I'm coming twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I always have a list of questions in my head, regarding my own plot, because I have a plot in my the Fountain Community Garden out in Hollywood near where I live. And so I'm trying to grow things, and I'm learning through trial and error. And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still a novice.
I'm going to use that word, trial.
But I really don't know what I'm doing. And some things are plant. What do I do about this pest? Thank you for these seeds. When should I plant them now, or should I plant them later? I'm trying to be more strategic now with my plot. It's very small. It's 5 by 10, but I'm trying to plant things in the right season. And one thing that he's taught me is timing is very important. So for example, I can plant 2 things right next to each other, knowing that I'll harvest one in 2 months, and then I'll harvest the other thing, and that will be gone before I harvest the other thing, 3 months later, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I kind of know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
for our listeners, it'd be where Justin has this method of, if you're going to, so 2 months ago, if you were planting tomatoes, tomatoes are going to be X 4 months, whatever. But in the meantime, you can do the 1 to 2 month crops, aka cilantro, radishes, kales. In the meantime, harvesting those until they're overrun by the tomatoes. So I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
Yes, thank you. You articulated it much better than me, but that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about any of that stuff. And spacing is sometimes important. For example, right now in my garden, and this is another great thing I love about coming here, is sometimes you guys give me seedlings and seeds and plants at no charge, which is just an incredible thing. But for example, like I planted, it was zucchini right next to a bunch of herbs. And I'm learning that, oh my gosh, this chocolate mint is overrunning everything else, and it's growing like a weed. And these zucchini, got a lot bigger than I thought they would. So I'm having to cut back the leaves so that they're not casting too much of a shadow over tomatoes and other things. And so the spacing I'm also learning about as well. So Justin's been a huge, valuable resource to me in helping me like figure out my own strategy for my own plot.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to hear that, because that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted the internship, aka volunteer program, to be. Not just saying, oh, we need help, and yeah, go cut this, go plant that. It's more of growing the relationship between us and yourself, and then growing your relationship with your own garden or farm. So that's why I think I'm so happy that we're blessed to have you guys. Is like it's a mutual relationship. We need help, but you're also learning, and that's the important thing. That's why we do it. And it helps, because like I said, there's so much and like you were saying yourself, oh, the chocolate mint grew great, oh, but the cucumbers, and it's constant. So here you're by 5 by 10 times maybe 100 on our thing. It's like, oh yes, great, that one, oh no, that one, oh yeah. And so you look at lawns and you're like, no wonder people do lawns, it's so much easier. It's like these are headaches, because it's like, oh, that grew too well, oh, that grew well, and you're going through this thing.
Yeah, it's
and
a
every
huge
year
operation.
is different.
Yeah,
you can't just say, oh, it's going to be a replica year this year and next year. It's not. And so yeah, I mean, it is, you have to be, and like I said, you probably learned this too, you have to be patient, you have to be flexible, you have to just go with the flow, even though it's like things are doing well, things aren't doing well, and you're just like, oh, well, that's the way it goes, and or grows. That's the way it goes. It grows, and you never know. It's almost like a crapshoot every time. And
totally.
Because the weather could be different. Your planting things could be different. Yeah, so it is a lifelong journey for even farmers. So and you're experiencing that yourself. So I like to hear that and how you're learning. And I have my little question prompts, and you've already passed through all the ones I had. Well, almost all the ones I'm wanting to ask you. But also I know you liked. Not only do we give you seeds and then plants, we're also taking home food. And
yes,
for you,
definitely.
Another thing, and with us, is food is health. And in your case, personally, I think so too. So you're also going home with food for your health issues. How have you incorporated, the food from the homestead into your diet? Oh,
that's a great question. I mean, you guys have so much to offer. I mean, it's like Christmas every time I come. It's crazy. I leave with a box or a bag full of goodies. And I think some people have preferences. For me, I usually like to take things like your carrots, eggs, beets. I love to use the beets for smoothies. So I've concocted a delicious beet smoothie with all sorts of other fruit, like pineapples and apple and banana and some greens. So that's delicious. I always have that on hand. Also the carrots. I've actually created this delicious carrot soup with carrots that you guys have provided me. And I make that in my Vitamix, and it's delicious. So I'm always eager to get carrots, celery. You guys always have an abundance of avocados and citrus, especially, you know, during the summer months. So those are kind of my go-tos, but yeah, what a huge blessing. I feel like I came here to give, but I get so much more in return. And it's so funny how that happens in life. Like you want to volunteer and you want to give back to the community, but you're always giving back so much more than you give. And it's just such a wonderful life lesson.
Yeah. I like that. That's very true, and I hope more people experiencing that. You know, like I said, and I keep telling people, not only we're growing food, we're growing community, we're growing the future, we're growing future farmers, future gardeners, future, you know, the future of the planet, the health of the planet. We're growing here, and it might not seem like us because, you know, we, you know, especially now, we don't go anywhere, and we're kind of, you know, stuck on the farm here, which, you know, really hasn't changed, but, you know, some things have. And for you, COVID has changed, and you're spending more time here on the farm. So it works out, because I think that, and we were talking about more, the mental health of people, you know, you just need to get out, and you need to go, and, so and you can do that, and it keeps you grounded, it keeps you sane. I think it's more so now, not only the food and the community and the produce that we're giving to the community, but we're, you know, growing health for people, not only healthy for your health, but healthy for your spirit too.
Yes, that is a great point, and I have to definitely confirm that, because not only has this improved my physical health, but it has definitely improved my mental health. There are sometimes when I'm out, you know, on the farm, harvesting or turning over a bed, and I literally just have to pause and think to myself, oh my gosh, like, look at all this beauty around me. I'm so thankful and so blessed right now. And a lesson that I recently learned, I think it was just last week, was the cucumber plants, which I planted maybe 4 or 5 months ago, are now like 6 or 8 feet tall. So like seeing that from start to finish, like I look at all those cucumbers growing, and, you know, like last time I was here, I harvested, you know, 30 huge cucumbers. And the fact that I planted those as seedlings like 4 months ago is just incredible to me. Like, it's just, it like blows my mind, and it reminds me that we truly live in an abundant world. Because one thing that I've always struggled with is a scarcity mindset. So coming here has definitely helped me with that. Just like understanding that we truly live in an abundant world where, you know, there's an abundance of trees and produce and fresh herbs all over the earth, and they continue to multiply. And I mean, I'm out on the farm harvesting these things, and I'm just like in awe. Like, I cannot believe how much there is. You know, it's
imagine
just,
if
it's crazy.
Our block, imagine. So there are how many houses on this block? 15 houses on one side, maybe 50, so about 30, maybe 30 homes on this one block. Imagine if every home did something like this. How much food?
My gosh,
I mean, people say you might not get your bananas or your, you know, certain things you're not going to get, and of course we're not going to get wheat, but there will be food. There is food to be had, and to be gotten, you know, and especially here in California, Southern California, it, you know, if you go back to the days, it was, you know, the street that, you know, that you come on to the farm is orange grove. Hence, there were orange groves. This was a farming community, a ranching community, and so there are still elements of that left here, and we just have to tap into that. And we can't, you know, there's no excuse you know, especially in California, no excuse to not grow something, I think, if you have the time and the plot and the space to do so.
Definitely. Lawns, you mentioned lawns earlier, they're so overrated. I mean, I hope that you know, when I do own a property, I definitely hope to have a garden or farm like yours, just where I'm totally taking advantage of the land that I have. And, you know, also kind of paying it forward, like you mentioned, like you're teaching me, I hope to someday help to teach other people, you know, these skills. And, you know, give back to the community. What I grow, I share with people around me, my neighbors, my community. Like, I just think that I'm hoping that's kind of the wave of the future. I see more and more people that that are taking an interest to gardening and farming. In fact, you know, just yesterday I was telling a girl about you guys. And whenever I get the chance, you know, I tell people that I have a garden, and they're always so curious to learn more. And then I mention you guys, and I say, you know, there are volunteer opportunities around if you really want to learn. So
yeah, so I'm going to talk about that. You said you did mention that you hope that you have a farm in the future. Is that the way you're going? I mean, I know you know you're in Hollywood now, but so you're seriously considering getting a piece of land and doing more of this? Is that what you're? Yeah,
definitely,
cool.
yes.
Right.
I mean, I have to be careful with the thoughts and the words that I put out into the universe, because I deal with a lot of like negative thinking and thoughts, and you know, like I think about the challenges instead of the opportunities. But I am confident. I know that someday I will own a property.
Okay.
And I love LA. I do really love it here. So I hope that it is local as opposed to in some other state where it's much more affordable. But I do love it here. And my hope.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I keep looking, I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I know. And I've talked to Justin. I've talked to Justin about going a little bit further south, Oceanside, you know, somewhere north, down there. Yeah. Ojai is probably too expensive, but but somewhere. I mean, there's got to be somewhere around here. I mean, Lancaster, Palmdale, maybe not, but
Southend, maybe. I'd have to check. But
yeah, but like I talked to another girl yesterday, who, and this is a little off topic, but she recently bought a mobile home up in Palmdale, and I think it was $8,000 that she paid, and then she put another $9,000 into it for rehab. So I mean, for $17,000, she's got a property that she owns, and I don't know what the land situation is like. I don't know how big the parcel is, but I mean, that's cheap for LA, and if that's something that's totally within reach for me right now. So if I can figure something out, I am confident that I will figure it out. I'm not going to give up until I achieve this. And you did manifest that. I believe in that. You know, and like I said, we didn't think we were going to be here that long. We came from 10 acres. This was going to be temporary. You know, and we were close to looking at farms, and we were looking in the same, after Dad graduated from college, it's like I said, this was only be a 2 to 4 year stint. And we were looking, we looked at Julian, you know, where the apples are, and we did look at Fillmore and Ojai area, and at that time, and there was places out there, and we were close to, but you know, we never could just, I don't know why, maybe that was the reason that, you know, there was a different plan in the universe for us. But I mean, we always, you know, I do want more acres, because it's like you're able to expand, have more things, have a more, you know, bigger orchard, But yeah, I mean, we can't have our hands busy with what we have here, but that doesn't mean, like I said, I wish for more. How it manifests itself, I have no idea, but yeah, it is nice, and keep looking, and definitely.
You know, don't give up on your dream, because you know, a piece of land is worth a lot to have that, and more than money.
Definitely.
Because you know, with your skills that you're gaining, you can survive, grow your own food. If you have source of water, even better. That's like mega. Water and food. That's pretty much all you need.
And speaking of land, I'm actually learning right now. You know, I have an interest in real estate, so I'm learning right now. I've used this time during quarantine to learn how to buy and sell land.
Oh, cool.
So I actually have a piece of land under contract in New York, but I'm going to start looking in California as well.
Nice.
So hopefully I can figure that process out, the contracts, you know, due diligence, all that stuff, and learn how to, you know, get land for myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say to, speaking of future, what would you have advice for folks like yourself, or people who are wanting to do this thing? Do you have, like words of advice or wisdom for them from your experience that you'd like to share? Yeah,
I mean, just do it. You just got to do it. Just take action. And even if you live in a place like LA where you think it's impossible, it's not. I didn't know that I could get a plot down the street, you know, like with the Fountain Community Garden. I got really lucky there. Use the internet, use Google, you know, search for opportunities in your area. They do exist, you know, there is land everywhere, there's abundance everywhere, there are people willing to help and teach you like you guys. And so, you know, use technology and just take action, you know, stop thinking about it and just start doing. And for me in my plot, you know, I started paying for this plot, it's $10 a month. I had no idea what I was doing. I just, started learning things by trial and error, and I've made a ton of mistakes. I've killed a lot of things.
But that's how you learn. Like what Edison said, he learned some 1,001 ways to not make a light bulb.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, you have a good point. I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, they want to do it, and they read these books and they take these classes, but they're sometimes you just got to say, you know what, enough of that.
Yeah.
You just got to do it. And it's scary. I mean, it's like, I'm going to mess up. What if I do it? And, kill things.
Mistakes are a part of it.
But you got to do it.
Yep.
You're never going to get to where you want to get to be if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And all the books you read, but they're not going to be specific to you and specific to your plot and specific to the change of the weather of this particular year and this particular time. So, and you have to go and do it along. Mm-hmm. And the life that you're growing is the life that you're being, and it's going to be different than a book or a workshop.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's going to be, tomorrow's going to be different than today.
Exactly.
And you never know what's going to be. And so that book's not going to tell you exactly, because we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So I think that's what, for us, we've lived this lifestyle for always, and it's made us aware of like how flexible and how faith we have to have. Mm-hmm. Even though, things look so bleak sometimes, it's like, but you go outside, like you said, and you're blown away by the beauty. And it's like, they don't care politics or crisis or whatever. They grow no matter what or not. And that's just super amazing to just be a part of that.
Totally. And nature is like such a wonderful teacher.
Exactly.
And like these plants are teaching me, like literally I can plant seeds in my life, physically or figuratively. I'm planting seeds every day. And these things are blossoming, whether they're thoughts or actions or relationships. Like all these things blossom into beautiful things. And my garden is teaching me so many important lessons, which I never would have guessed. It's very strange.
Yeah, but, it's very humbling. I'm always like almost kind of about to cry, because like I said, just in these times right now, it just touches me even more, like how powerful, to be connected to the earth like that. Because like I said, it is, the COVID crisis and things that are happening, it's just so heavy, and just to have, that release of emotions and the heaviness to just go out and plant something, harvest something. It's touched me more, because like I said, it's just like, even though it's like I've grown up like this, it's such a blessing to have. And I wish more, I hope, like, I want more people to experience this, that they have a hope for future.
Definitely.
And I you have the same thing too. That's why I think we get along so great. It's like, that, we find the right people. We just, it's amazing that, like I said, you keep it out there in the universe, and you find the people, they're there. And so you're,
And this has been such a huge blessing to me, especially during this time of uncertainty with COVID hitting and the quarantine. I remember the first month of quarantine, like starting mid-April, like this was what I lived for, coming here twice a week, like everything else was so dark and heavy and uncertain. But this was just like my lifeline. It was my lifesaver, coming here twice a week and being able to just put my hands in the earth, get my hands dirty in the soil, and just realize what really is important in life, And like you mentioned, like this stuff around us, like these things that are growing around us, this life, they don't really care about this virus, They're gonna continue doing what they're doing. And again, it's what a wonderful example. So this has just been, especially in the last few months, coming here has just really been life-changing for me.
Well, thank you for pointing that out, because like I said, we live here, and sometimes I appreciate the beauty, but I don't appreciate the depth of it until like I talk to you, and then it reminds me, like, oh yeah, there's a bigger part at work. There's a bigger goal. There's a bigger thing out there than just like, and for me, sometimes I get into my little head, like, oh boy, look at all the work and all the things. But then it's beautiful. But then like talking to people like yourself, then it actually goes deeper. And I'm like, no, this is why. This is why we do this. This is the reason, and this is it. This is the being of all, I think. And that's why we're here, I think, just to help each other and help the planet and just be grounded in the soil, I think.
Yeah.
And there's so much in the layers, you know, like I said, the correlations and ties to just like food and the language is so like how you can relate to yourself, like you said, different layers and
Yes.
growth and seeds and sowing. It's like, wow, that's the garden, but no, that's my personal life too. So it's kind of interesting how.
Yeah. And I actually see, maybe I shouldn't go here, but I actually see a therapist every week on Sundays, and he's constantly using gardening, like metaphors, terminologies, like he's using this language figuratively. And I don't know if it's because he knows I have a garden or if he does this with everyone, but he's always like making comparisons, you know, like my garden to other life experiences. And it's just, it's really great. And I just have so much respect for Mother Earth, and I want to take care of her, and, you know, like I want to respect her. And the more I give, like I said earlier, the more I get out of this relationship with her, you know.
Well, thank you for giving your time today. I really appreciate that. And thank you for giving your time to help with the homestead. Appreciate that. So, wow, we've come to the sort of end of our podcast. So I'm uplifted. I hope everybody is too, that go out and plant something, go do something, go grow something. And for those of you who are interested, you know, you can email us for the intern application form. You can email us at info@urbanhomestead.org if you're interested in interning and meeting Dan and meeting us and growing the future. So thank you again for, you know, and it was a wonderful, like I said.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm touched because, like I said, I'm moved and touched because, like I said, it really touches me to see that, you know, the growing of people, not only food, and see you and have
huge blessing.
Yeah, so
wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, so until next time, everybody. I hope everybody is well and be safe out there.
Let's go down to the Urban Homestead, Pasadena.
We'd love to hear your feedback or questions. Visit us at urbanhomestead.org to check out what's happening on the homestead. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And until next time, keep on growing.
Loving the life back into the land.